Mimicry and Evolution, an educational video. Mimicry is the similarity of one organism to another, resulting in the protection of one or both organisms. The similarity can be in appearance, behavior, sound, scent, or location. There are three parts to mimicry: the mimic, the model, and the receiver. The mimic is the organism attempting to disguise itself. The model is the thing that the mimic is attempting to imitate. The model does not have to be an animal and can instead be a piece of the environment. The receiver is the organism being deceived. The trait that the receiver uses to identify its mimic is the same trait that the mimic takes from the model. For example, if a hawk can identify a snake with its sight, the snake will change its appearance. Mimicry can improve a species in two general manners. It can be defensive or aggressive. Defensive mimicry occurs as an attempt to avoid encounters with predators through deception. The prey will try to trick its predators into thinking they're something else. Aggressive mimicry is the exact opposite. Predators will try to deceive the prey into thinking they are something else, less harmful. Mimicry by species evolved from the forces of natural selection acting on both predator and prey. A species that can disguise itself from a predator is much more likely to survive and produce offspring. If a predator is able to disguise itself from its prey, it will be that much more fit to its environment and pass on its genetics. Remember that evolution occurs with small incremental changes, so the question may be brought up: if a species only looks a little bit like something else, wouldn't it still be distinguishable? Well, now that the prey looks a little bit less like prey, its survivability has increased, making it much more likely to pass on its genetics. The prey will grow up and reproduce with offspring that share its favorable genetic disposition. Eventually, this trait would spread throughout the population, and selective pressures would act upon the predator. Selection now favors those predators that can distinguish its prey. The result would be a cycle of small evolutionary changes, eventually resulting in a very disguised mimic and very acute sensors. This form of coevolution is fittingly known as an evolutionary arms race. All of this is driven by the forces of natural selection, as the most fit will survive to breed. Mimicry occurs across nature in a variety of expressions. Batesian mimicry occurs when a prey mimics a species that is unattractive to predators to try and make itself look unattractive. This is beneficial to the mimic, but decreases the effectiveness of the model. A black racer snake deceives its predators by mimicking the behavior of a poisonous rattlesnake by shaking its tail. Malarian mimicry occurs between two species that are inedible to a predator. Predators need to learn what species can't be eaten, so if one inedible prey mimics another, the cost of the predator learning is shared across both species. This form of mimicry is mutually beneficial to both species. The viceroy butterfly shares a striking resemblance to the monarch butterfly. While both are filled with toxins and unpalatable to its predators, the predators learn to avoid both just by eating one. Mimicry can also make a deadly species look less so.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi-ho!
If a predator eats a poisonous prey and dies immediately after doing so, nothing is learned and the next predator is just as likely to make the same mistake. When an organism mimics itself after a less deadly organism, it is known as Amselean mimicry. The deadly coral snake is almost identical to the not deadly but still poisonous false coral snake. The milk snake is not poisonous, but displays Batesian mimicry in taking after the false coral snake. Mimicry can even occur within a species. The model and the mimic can be of the same species. This is known as automimicry. Monarch butterflies vary in toxicity across the species type. Some species may cause indigestion to a predator, while others cause death. All types of mimicry came to be through selective pressures. While some may be more entertaining than others, all have made the mimic more fit to their environment.